Hey guys, what is up? I am TitoTheOG, and as you can see, the layout of my video is a little different today. It's just going to be my hands you're going to be seeing because the main attraction isn't what's behind the camera, it's what's in front of the camera. And today we have the Sonic the Hedgehog X DC collaboration action figures. Now, I believe, as I'm recording this, today is Tuesday, October 1st. Ooh, spooky month. And these guys have actually started showing up in Targets. So go check your Targets, check online. They are available, some are available to order. I know Amy has been pretty elusive. But the 4-pack has been showing up in stores and online. So go check your Targets. Anyways, what I'm going to be doing today, guys, is unboxing these brand new action figures. Now, I just want to say really quick, Amy is the only figure that you cannot get in this pack. The only ones in this pack are Silver, Shadow, and Flash Sonic. Amy is just the odd one out, unfortunately. And if you're wondering if there are any differences between the individual carded Silver and Sonic, no, they are the exact same as the in-box version, the single carded version. And eventually they will be releasing a single carded Shadow, but the main difference with this one is that he lights up, which I'll be getting into later. And I just want to say really quick before I start unboxing is I got him my Silver, or I got this pack in the mail with Darkseid and such, and look at this. What is this? This is not supposed to happen. Now I don't know if it's snapped in place or if I could pop the ball joint in to his leg. Let's hope I can, but come on guys, this is unacceptable. This pack retails for like $60 or something like that, and I've seen other people within my Discord community also join my Discord community. We talk about all things Sonic the Hedgehog action figures. I've seen some poor quality control on these guys, so I'm hoping this isn't a very common issue and it's just a few one-offs. But I was really bummed out to see it because having another 5-inch Silver action figure is just something I was excited for. And unfortunately he's broken, so hopefully Target can fix that for me. You know what, let me take a picture of this before I continue. Anyways, getting back to the main topic of the video. The first thing I'm going to unbox is going to be Wonder Woman Amy. Just because she's an individual figure rather than this box set. So here is Wonder Woman Amy in her single carded action figure box, and I really like the way the box itself looks. It's kind of smaller, the actual bubble itself is smaller than past 5-inch figures like the movie figures or the Prime figures, and I feel like it looks really nice. It almost doesn't look like a Jakks Pacific box the way everything's packaged, but it looks really nice. I like the Wonder Woman art, and you have Amy artwork there. And the figure looks pretty good in box. I like the metallic gold details. And let's go ahead and turn it around here to see what's on the back. There's a little description that says, in the heat of battle, Sonic the Hedgehog and his friends are blasted across dimensions into the world of the Justice League. While the DC superheroes fight to save the multiverse, Sonic and friends don their costumes in an attempt to maintain order in an unfamiliar world. Pretty cool. I'm not too big of a DC fan myself. So I don't particularly care for this collaboration. I just wanted to check out the figures myself. But one thing I will say, Jakks really outdid themselves on the packaging. If you could look, some parts of the cardboard are different. They have different finishes. You can see Wonder Woman has like this glossy finish to her. Same with the Sonic the Hedgehog Cross DC logo. And Amy herself has this same finish, as well as some of the text along the box. It's actually very nice to see this amount of detail going into these figures. Also, here is the barcode for Wonder Woman Amy right here, in case anyone needs it. And I think with all that being said, we can go ahead and take her out of the box. I'm really interested to see how the articulation on these characters hold up to the Sonic Prime figures, just because the only other 5-inch figures we have are the movie ones, and those were pretty alright. So I'm hoping these guys feel a little bit more sturdy. There is one issue I already really have with these guys, and it's how thick their limbs are. Like, look at how fat Amy's arms are. You know, I'm not fat shaming or anything, but Sonic characters usually have slimmer limbs, and the fact that her arms are like freaking huge, it's really strange to look at. But you know, that's just me nitpicking, and that won't bother most people. And here is Wonder Woman Amy Rose out of box, and she's got quite literally the same exact articulation points as these Sonic movie figures. I mean, you have like a slight butterfly joints right there in the arms. You have the ankle pivots. You have the hand articulation, which I'm not a big fan of myself. I just think it looks kind of ugly. But you have it there. And then you have, you know, their heads are on a ball joint, so you can kind of slightly move them up and downwards. And she actually has a waist swivel as well, where you can kind of rotate her waist at different angles. I like the amount of articulation they're putting in these 5-inch figures. You know, they're bigger scaled figures, so they should be able to have some of these extra articulation points. And I think it's actually done not too bad on these guys. I was scared of them being pretty fragile and frail, but it doesn't feel all that bad. They do move quite easily though, but it's not like super flimsy like how some of the past figures were. The paint apps on this figure look pretty good, though unfortunately the stars on her skirt are kind of, the stars on her skirt right here are kind of misaligned, and you can see they're kind of falling outside of the outline. It's mainly just those 2 stars. The rest of them are pretty decent looking. I like the metallic gold finish they used for all of the gold parts on this figure. There is a weird discoloration between her skin tone and her elbow joints. I don't know what's up with that. But it's good to see them doing actual metallic paint on these figures. I was a little bit worried we were just going to get solid yellow, kind of like how they did with modern Amy. And though she has a skirt, her legs can move forwards and backwards a pretty decent amount. Overall, I think she's a very good looking figure, and she looks pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not a big DC fan, so I don't really care too much for the look of her, but as an action figure, I think it's pretty solid. Also, one thing I noticed that I really liked is that it has this little gloss finish on the eyes that is not present on the other, like on the pink area. So I think this is their way of doing like that glossy look without doing that like 3D-ish look that the movie figures had, which honestly I prefer this more. Now it's time for the big one, the Sonic the Hedgehog x DC Power vs Speed pack. And here we have Darkseid, a 6-inch Darkseid figure. We have 5-inch Batman Shadow, 5-inch Green Lantern Silver the Hedgehog, and 5-inch Flash Sonic. Now there's a lot going on here and a lot to get into, but first thing I'm going to do is going to remove this Try Me tab because I want to try them. And let's go ahead and press on Shadow's bat symbol. Bam, there we go. Just a little barely lit up light. Kind of odd that that's the only area that lights up on. And we have some artwork of Darkseid as well as artwork of the gang, and they look pretty cool. Let's go ahead and turn this around. Oh, look, there's artwork on the side also. Darkseid versus the trio. And then flip it around to the back, we have some pictures of the action figures that they took. You know, we got Sonic running, Silver flying, Batman Batmaning, and Darkseid Darkseiding. Surprised there are no bios or anything on here, but still pretty cool. I really do dig the packaging. I like the shape of the packaging too. The way the window kind of like comes out, you can see it here, and it's like shaped pretty interesting. I do quite dig it. They have gotten a little bit better at doing packaging with their figures. I just kind of wish that this kind of unique packaging was put into the main line, but that's going off on a different tangent. Okay, I just wanted to say there's not really an easy way to open this thing by saving the package. I kind of had to rip the box open, but I mean, who keeps their toys in a box? You know, only weirdo collectors do that. Okay. Well, here are my figures out of the box, and as you can see, Shadow kind of fell apart out of the box, but his leg looks like it was just on a ball joint, so I'm able to snap it back in there, and it's just fine. And let's see if Silver's is able to do the same. Okay, there we go. Oh, it kind of just falls out. That's not good. These figures feel like much more premium quality figures than the movie ones even. Even Darkseid himself. All of these figures feel fantastic to the touch. Like, especially Sonic. Like, his head, it's got a good weight to it. And you can't really tell on camera, but the finish to the figure itself feels really, really high quality. It's like a nice rubbery texture, or like material, compared to the hard plastic hollow heads that the Sonic Prime figures had. And the joints feel very nice. Like I said, they don't feel super loose. They feel pretty firm, and like they're going to stay in the poses that I put them in. But I will say, the legs do come off pretty easily. Look at that range on Sonic. That's pretty good. This actually really makes me want them to do regular 5-inch figures. And before anyone says, just repaint this figure into a modern Sonic figure, you can't really do that, because all of these sculpted, or all of these little yellow lines on the figure, they're sculpted into the figure itself. I don't know if you can catch it when I zoom in right here. They're kind of, you can see they're beveled into the head sculpt. So it's not going to be quite as easy as just repainting the figure, not to mention the joint rub, but that's getting off topic a little bit. Sonic is awesome. He's got some great range. He's got, you know, the thigh swivel. He's got some awesome bending at the knees. They can go, you know, straight, and even his ankles can pivot side to side and even move forwards and downwards, upwards and downwards. Not too much, but there's pretty decent range. And he's got some slight butterfly joints. I will say I'm fine without the butterfly joints. They don't add much range. I feel like all they really do is make him a bit bulkier. And he has torso swivel, which is pretty good. I like torso swivel on these figures. I feel like you get a lot more... Shadow just took a plunge. He took a bat plunge. Okay, I don't remember what I was saying. But yeah, Sonic feels great. He's got amazing range. His head's on a ball joint, so he can kind of move up and downwards a tad bit, not too much. Oh, I remember what I was saying. Yeah, I feel like adding the butterfly joints kind of makes the torso a little bit too wide and fat for these characters. Just looks a little awkward. I'd be fine with no butterfly joints and just torso swivel, because I feel like you can get some awesome range with just torso swivel. And I wish they would stop doing these hands. I think these hands look ugly. They don't look good in any other pose than fists. Like, what is he doing? That just does not look right. But let's move on to Silver. That's a pretty sick pose I just got Sonic into. Alright, now here is Silver the Hedgehog Green Lantern. This was one I was really excited for, not because it's Green Lantern, but a 5-inch Silver figure. This is the, I guess really this is like the second ever 5-inch Silver the Hedgehog action figure, with the first ever one being the Sonic and the Black Knight Sir Galahad action figure. Now there's a little size comparison for you guys in case some people are going to try and customizing into a Galahad. Green Lantern Silver is just slightly a bit bigger than Jazzwares Sir Galahad, so you might want to reconsider. I will say his head sculpt is pretty good. I'm just not a fan of the design itself. Like, I just think green is such a weird color for Silver. I just always envision Silver with like blue. That green just looks super awkward with him. But I mean, not much I can do on that end. That's just how Sega and DC designed him. But you can see he has a unique sculpted fist right here with the Green Lantern emblem. Pretty cool detail that they have there. And he has the same exact articulation as Sonic with butterfly joints, you know, bicep swivel, elbow joints, hand articulation. What the heck? That's not supposed to happen. I've been noticing these figures have been falling apart on me a lot, which is kind of unfortunate. To be fair, I don't play with my figures too much. I just kind of pose them and leave them there. And I will say his leg range is awesome. For him having a big old boot on his foot, this leg range is great. And he's got the same, you know, where you can move his like ankle and his foot pivot side to side and upwards and downwards. Not too much range, but I think just enough to get some cool poses. Look at that. Cool pose. All right, now the one everyone has been waiting for. Batman Shadow. Now I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. This guy's got a chest on him. He's got a real fat chest. And the only reason why it's that thick is because he has the little lighting unit in his chest. And I'm gonna be honest, this wasn't really needed. It's cool to have it, but it just, when it sacrifices the look of the figure, I'm not a fan. So if you're not really a fan of this yourself, don't worry, they are going to be releasing a standard version of this figure without the light up chest, and his torso is going to be a lot smaller. This was leaked on Target's ad. When the figures were first announced, it showed a standard version of this figure. So I don't think I'm really going to keep this guy. I'll probably just wait till that version comes out. Anyways, getting to the actual figure itself, his head sculpt is phenomenal. This is one of the best Shadow the Hedgehog head sculpts I've ever seen. Not to mention the very nice matte finish that it has. You can really see the difference between the actual black fur and the gloss on his eyes. It looks amazing. And his frown looks really good. He looks angry, and it looks very, very good. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of paint scratching there on the quill, but at least you don't really see it. It's not like on the main quill or anything. He doesn't have butterfly joints since he has the, the light up feature, and he has a rubber cape that is pretty flexible. You can get it into some pretty dynamic poses, which is awesome. I was kind of worried it was going to be a solid hard cape, but the fact that it's this little rubbery material is great. And you know, I actually kind of have an idea with this cape, but I'll save that for another video. Oh my god, the legs keep coming off on these guys. I will say I like how the knee pad works on this guy. You see it's in front of the leg, but you bend it down and it's stuck to the bottom shin. And I think that works awesome because when the leg is, you know, straight up, you don't even see the joint itself. So they did a good job engineering this figure and hiding some of the joints with the knee pads. And the only thing I kind of wish this figure had was golden paint apps, just like Wonder Woman Amy did. I feel like it's kind of weird that Wonder Woman Amy got that, but this Shadow figure didn't. You know, especially with his inhibitor rings and all that. I don't know what's going on with that. But I feel like it would have been a lot better with the golden paint apps. And the shoes are literally Shadow the Hedgehog shoes, and with the same pivot that the other figures had, you know, up and down. He has slightly more up and down range than the other figures, which is good. And they're the bottoms of the shoes. Literally just Shadow the Hedgehog shoes, but painted black and gray. I am a big fan of this design. I like how he looks as Batman. I just don't like the light up feature. It's nothing too crazy on this guy, whereas on the movie figures they looked awesome. So not too crazy for the light up one, and if you feel the same way, just wait for the single release. And finally, Darkseid. I don't know how many people really care for looking at this guy. I'm not too crazy for him. I don't think I'll keep him, but I'll go over a short rundown of his articulation. I think the sculpt looks very good. You have a lot of like skin details there in his like skin areas, and he has some pretty good articulation that I wasn't expecting from Jakks Pacific. He has, you know, ankle pivot, pretty good range on there, swivel side to side. He has a cut in his calf where you can rotate, or a boot cut where you can rotate his foot 360 degrees. He has double jointed knees, double jointed elbows for more range. He has a thigh swivel, which is pretty good, and his coat right here is like a soft rubbery material, so you could actually move his legs outwards and such. And then he has waist swivel, torso swivel. You know, his head can rotate 360 degrees. That's really it. Not really up and down too much. Or he has bicep swivel, butterfly joints, wrist joints, and that's really it for Darkseid. He does look pretty good, but like I said, I'm not a DC fan, so I don't care too much for him. Here are all of the currently released DC Sonic the Hedgehog 5-inch action figures. We don't have a Cyborg Tails or a Superman Knuckles yet. I'm hoping down the line in Wave 2 we'll get that. Here's my speculation, guys. Screen record this for the future when I'm inevitably right. I think the next wave of individual figures is going to be regular Shadow, Cyborg Tails, Knuckles. I think that's really it. I think there's only 3 characters per wave. So yeah, I think those 3 characters, hopefully, hopefully, I would definitely pick them up just to go along with these guys. And I think, like, the main standout is Flash Sonic and Batman Shadow. They just look very cool, and the quality of the figures are very, very good. I was not expecting them to be this nice quality. So I was very pleasantly surprised with that, and I think the articulation is great, aside from, their legs kept popping off on me. I'm curious to hear if anyone else had those issues when using these figures. And, seeing these figures and actually posing them in hand, I felt a little confident in Jakks Pacific making some 5-inch Sonic figures. I feel like if they were to make some now, I think they would turn out pretty cool. With that being said, what are some characters you would like to see in the 5-inch action figure form? Whether it be your own headcanon DC figure or a figure from the comic books, let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am TitoTheOG, and I will see you guys next time.